Is what you want to achieve in your life stressing you out? Do you feel that in spite of setting your goals, your mind is still unclear? Our mind is a beautiful thing. It has huge potential, creative potential, which can be crippled only by our own thoughts where we believe something is possible or not in this world. Dreams are something that disconnect our mind from this physical world and engage the heart in forming up the images of different possibilities. This is an amazing ability of tapping into the deeper level of intelligence, which is closer to our intuitions and spirit than something that is tangible or physically measurable. If you use your analytical mind too much, you will not be able to dream freely, and you will be trapped in a world full of detail, complexity, sequence, logic, etc. A mind that is trained and used to the process of analysis and accumulation of facts can block your ability to access creative imagination. And what's ironic is that for many people, a great deal of goal setting happens without dreams and without desires. What they want to achieve is actually stressing them out. But when there is desire within, there won't be any stress. Instead, you have an inner drive, a positive urge to succeed, and the motivation to overcome any obstacles that might come in your way. And this leaves you feeling good. Stress happens when you engage in goals that have little or no personal meaning for you. For example, some people want to own a residential property just because they are seeing their peers or friends owning one, or to prove something to someone. And for that, they work so hard to arrange funds through bank loans, hand loans, and by the time they take occupancy of the house, they have lost all the energy and they are not happy with the so called goal, even if they have been achieved. Because they know deep inside that they were happier before even achieving that goal. And owning a house is not a bad thing, but if the person doesn't have an innate desire for it, they'll end up dissatisfied in spite of such a big goal being accomplished. And mind you, such a dissatisfaction and stress can lead to ill health. In addition, when you are not aligned with the dream and desire, you will subconsciously attract and create situations that work as obstacles and hindrances to the process of achieving that goal, which increases the stress. Sometimes the reason why someone may not know what they want is that there are so many things going on in their life that attempts to even logically analyze them will result in thoughts like bouncing from one place to another and stress and then tiredness. And the task of deciding which goal to go for will become so overwhelming that they start procrastinating. But when your dream, desire, and goal are integrated and working in unison, you have all the key ingredients for realizing the things in life that you really want. The things that up until now you may only have dreamt about, and you will be on the way to beating your goals. Hi, my name is Shamant and Murthy. I am a mental strength coach. Let's look at the three strategies which make your goal setting super effective. Strategy number one: arrive at what you actually desire. When there is a lack of desire, for whatever reason, there is one way to create it. What you could do is sit down and review all the situations in your life when you have really enjoyed yourself and look for common patterns among those various experiences. Then, imagine what kind of goals might engage you in similar activities. There is a way to do this. You need to identify and plot these events or occasions in a certain method. This process of displaying the enjoyment factor in a graphical way gives you a strong and visible perspective of what impact you can create in your life. By the way, some people can arrive at their actual desire without this exercise because their dreams, desires, and goal are all naturally aligned. They are crystal clear about what makes them happy. If you are one among them, I am really happy for you. But if you are one of those people who is still confused and not sure what will make you happy when you achieve it, then let's go ahead and do this. It will give you clarity. You will probably have a range in which some things were more enjoyable than others. Let's look at this example graph, okay? So you will get the idea. If you see this graph, there is an x-axis and a y-axis. The x-axis depicts the different occasions or events that were pleasurable for you, and the y-axis depicts the enjoyment factor on a scale of 0 to 10. Now, how to arrive at this graph? If you take a look at this table here, there are three columns with three headers. The first column is the event name, second column is event label, and the third column is the feature. Now, let's see the first row. In column number 1, the event name is worked on a freelance project. Then in column number 2, this event has been labeled as A, just for the sake of reference and the ease of showing it on the graph. In column number 3, you see the features of this event. What are they? In this event of worked on a freelance project, this person enjoyed making important decisions, working with fun people, earning big bucks, having lots of autonomy, which means there was a lot of freedom to come up with ideas and execute them. That's what they enjoyed. Now, if you see the graph on a scale of 0 to 10, what is the enjoyment factor for this event? It's 8, which is pretty high. Let's see the second row. The event name is worked for an offshore project. It has been named as B. Then what did the person enjoy? The foreign travel, the complex project, great team, clear aims, and the enjoyment factor for this event is 6, which is lower than that of A. So you get the idea, right? I'll share the screenshot of both the graph and the table for your reference. You can go through C and D as well in that. For this person, the event D seems to be the most enjoyable event or occasion as per what we see here. In your case, the events and its features could be different from what you see in this example. But the central idea of how to arrive at the most enjoyable desire remains the same. Isn't this so simple and effective? You will be able to clearly see what you desire and what you like to work on as a goal. So you just need to replicate this for your life events. Just take a pen and paper and go nuts with the table and a graph. Once you are done with the graph, you can begin to think how you can recreate these enjoyable experiences more often in the future. If you found this first strategy helpful, then type super effective in the comment box. Next, strategy number 2. Imagine without knowledge. The mind can work with two types of thoughts. Either it will utilize existing knowledge or it will imagine something from outside the realm of knowledge. Quite often, these two get mixed up. You might have experienced this. You know you are in a creative thinking situation and you interrupt yourself saying, "Hey, that will never work." While saying this statement, you are referring to a past experience, and the knowledge of that experience is contaminating your imagination of the future. When we attempt to project what we already know from the past into the future, we limit our potential and creative ability. So our thoughts become contained with restricted and contaminated reality. Pure imagination must have no boundaries or constraints. It should be allowed to flow freely like wind. The mind's ability to imagine the future is extremely powerful if you allow it to be free from knowledge. Knowledge is useful when you want to analyze a situation or form a conclusion about something. But imagination is not an analytical process. It has no borders, no conditions, no presumptions, no time limits or evaluations. It is free, flowing, abundant, and wild. In simple words, when imagination is based on knowledge, it is not pure imagination. There is a time for imagination and a time for analysis and evaluation. A mixture of both these two in the same thinking process is like the worst cocktail you can ever have. So imagine without knowledge. Strategy number 3. Know the difference between outcome, goal, and targets. Sometimes you don't get what you want. You may get some of what you want and some things you had not asked for as well. This often happens when you are focused only on your goal. When you focus on an outcome of a goal, you can think bigger and wider than the goal itself. We usually tend to get confused between targets, goals, and outcomes. An outcome includes all the consequences of pursuing any specific goal or a set of goals, and it's always advantageous to have an outcome in mind while defining a goal. William Deming, who was a veteran in management consulting and statistics from the US, once said, "If you give people targets and make their careers dependent on delivering them, they will likely meet the targets, even if they have to destroy the enterprise to do it." What does he mean by that? If a manager sets a target of making 30 sales calls per day, which is achievable, but its effectiveness on the business goal of increasing sales by 15% remains questionable. And if it's a service based company, then the route to growing sales is quality of service and relationship with the clients. Quick, cold sales calls may boost up the points on a daily target list, but the chances of significant increase in sales over the long term are low. Why? Let's take an example. Let's say a hospital is picking the easiest cases with the simplest procedures because that's the quickest way to reduce the number of appointments and the waiting list. The consequence is that more complicated and sophisticated treatments are getting pushed down to the bottom of the list with lower priority. So, if you see here, the target is actually serving as a block to achieve the bigger purpose of improving the quality of healthcare. If you are setting your goals or targets, then think through all the consequences to check if you are contributing to the higher purpose. This can be done by asking two quick questions. The first question is, what outcomes do I want to get from the actions that I take? And the second question is, how will I know if the action is achieving the outcomes? When you see this hierarchy, it will be like this: outcomes, goals, sub goals, and targets. If your goal is to own a house, what are the different outcomes that you want to see as the end result? It could be comfortable living for you and your family, safety and security, vibrancy and good energy in the house, easy commute to other places, a healthy environment, etc. These are personal to you, so you gotta define each one of them with your own vision. If your goal is to learn singing, what would be the different outcomes that you want to see? It could be feeling blissful as you sing, entertaining your audience, earning money as an artist, taking forward your teacher's legacy ahead, or being able to praise the Almighty you believe in a musical way, etc. When you are working towards a target, ask yourself, what is the measure of quality applied to the process? If the goal is to achieve a number, what does that number represent? All these questions reinforce the importance of the journey and the overall outcome that the goal, sub goal, and the targets are designed to achieve. The realization of the outcomes will connect your emotions to your goals, which will accelerate the speed of work. It is important to remember that it's not where you arrive at that matters the most. It's the path you travel and the methods deployed to get there that build your strength, wisdom, and intelligence and ultimately determine your outcomes. I have shared with you 3 ways to set your goal effectively. Now I have 3 steps for you to take. Step number 1: put together the table and graph to arrive at your desire as I have described it in the first step. This will help you gain clarity about your goals and outcomes. Step number 2: put down the outcomes for each of your goals so that it is clear what is it that you are trying to accomplish through the goals you are working on. Step number 3: join my VIP Facebook group to access more such helpful videos and content on a regular basis. I have shared the link in the description. Also, hit the like button if you found this video helpful and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching this video. God bless.